All right, I gotta get loosened back up here.
Do some jumping.
I've already asked you, like, I gotta hope. Well, yeah, they weren't on camera, so I'll try not to ask you the same ones again.
Oh, it's all good.
All right. So, well, it sounds like you've had quite the parenting experience. It sounds like you're better for it. So,
yeah,
I appreciate. I know that I can have a sour attitude about all sorts of things in life, and it's really cool to see that you've not allowed it to be this something that drags you down, because some people will find anything to complain about. So credit to you for embracing your son and not letting and blessing him, and being a part of that community. So speaking of family, do you have any brothers and sisters and stuff like that too?
Yeah, I've got so I was the oldest, and then I've got Bryn, who's 2 years younger than me, and then I've got Shelby, who's 11 years younger than me.
Okay, so that's quite the difference.
Yeah. Bryn and I had the same dad, and then Shelby's got a different dad than us, but yeah, it was
okay.
And so I was kind of the man of the house growing up and stuff like that.
So if you were the oldest, then is there a funny story you think your family would have about you that you would like to share? Like, what's something? I mean, you're a guy and I'm a guy. Guys do dumb stuff. And you like cars, so there's got to be something dumb you've done in your life.
So we didn't have.
Or let's just say funny.
So
I don't want to say dumb.
It was a long standing joke. It was called a Gramboozle, which was named after my name. That's the first one that came to my mind. So my grandfather was a huge fisherman, my mom's dad, and he took us up to Canada fishing for a week. It was unbelievable. Like, we had to drive up to Winnipeg, Canada.
So straight north of North Dakota there, probably.
Yeah, and got on went to a lake to get on the airplane. It was planes that land on
the fly-ins.
Yeah. And so we get on a plane there, and we have to fly. This place is super remote. And so we land at this lodge out in the middle of nowhere. It's called Cobham River, and it was a husband and wife that owned it. So anyway, we're unloading the tackle box, and I didn't realize I'm only like in fourth grade.
Okay.
And
the Gramboozle.
Yeah, the Gramboozle, and okay. We're unloading all the tackle boxes, and I didn't realize one wasn't latched. So I picked it up and just dumped a whole tackle box, and so that's where the Gramboozle was born. So like, that was when I was in fourth grade, and that thing, every once in a while, the Gramboozle still comes up. So
well, at least it all didn't go in the lake, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably some of it did, but
really?
I think most of it went to the bottom of the boat. Yeah, but it was pretty bad.
I'll give you. I mean, fourth grade. I mean, that's hard to hold that too much against you.
And there was like the whole trip was kind of a mess at the beginning, because you remember the movie La Bamba?
Yes.
Richie Valens, where they died. So like where I grew up in Iowa, it was like 30 minutes away from where they died, where the plane went down. So they have Buddy Holidays and all that stuff to this day in Clear Lake, Iowa. Well, a week before we went on that trip, I watched that movie, fourth grade, once again, never flown in my life. Let's just say those puddle jumper planes are not the smoothest riding things in the world. So not only do I go up there before the Gramboozle even happens, I'm like curled up in my great-grandfather's lap thinking that we're going to die like Richie Valens and Buddy Holly and all those guys. And so and then we get there, and then the Gramboozle's born. So like, it was amazing that the rest of the trip, I guess, we just got all the craziness out of the way right off the bat. So yeah.
So is it kind of sketchy up in those little planes?
Yeah, I mean, from my memories back then, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, now I probably wouldn't think so, but I mean, they're rough riding. I mean, a wind gust comes, you're going to feel it for sure. It's not like the commercial flights for sure.
And then, so that was, I mean, I have a question about this because I've always wanted to do one of those. Was that like walleye fishing and stuff?
Yeah, walleye, northern, perch.
Did you kill them?
Unbelievable. Like, we actually went up a total of 4 times. We only went there once. That place was so remote. I mean, there's bear claw marks on the cabins. I mean, it was, I can't imagine what it cost to do that. I mean, it was all-inclusive, just unbelievable country up there. But yeah, the walleye is still my favorite freshwater fish.
I know, I agree with you.
So good, yeah.
So that's the guide, you went with a guide then?
Yeah, it was all guided fishing.
They would fillet all the fish and all that stuff and cook it up.
Yeah, it was really cool. So you would get out on the water like between 5:30 and 6 in the morning, and there was like usually I think 4 or 5 different groups that were out fishing with guides, and you'd all meet up around 11 o'clock, and they would actually cook up what you caught that morning on the shore, like start a fire, cook it up, potatoes and fish, and then you'd go out and catch your limit that afternoon, and then you'd go back to the lodge, and the husband and wife ran it. The wife was just an unbelievable, I mean, huge spread when you get back. I mean, just crazy good food. And yeah, it was, and then, I mean, northern pike up there. I mean, that's like a bass on steroids. 15, 20 pounds, and they fight like a bass does. So yeah, it was awesome.
Well, now you really got me, because people have asked me to come back to Minnesota to do that, and I'm like, is it worth it? Now you've made it. My mouth's watering. It's not the tequila. It's my mouth's watering thinking about fresh walleye. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're 41, you said? So you've lived a pretty
I'm going to be 43 tomorrow.
43, so you're a year... Really?
Tomorrow,
well, happy birthday. Well, shoot. We need to have some happy birthday tequila as well. Well, so I guess anything planned for your birthday?
Work.
Yeah, at this age now, it's like...
no, I prefer not to remember. Yeah.
Okay.
I think since I turned 30, I pouted when I was 30. I had a Jeep at the time, and I just drove around and listened to 90s music and just pouted when I turned 30. And then ever since then, I just don't care too much.
It doesn't... I tend to agree with you on that. Once I like to take my birthday to just be my day, but it's not my birthday. Like, it's a birthday.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great excuse, I guess, to get away with something if you want, but other than that,
a birthday present to me now is just a smooth day. Like that's the best birthday present I can have, is just a smooth day.
All right. So at least your birthday isn't on a Monday then.
Right, yeah.
It's on a Tuesday? Or Tuesday's usually busy at the shop?
Yeah, every day is usually pretty good, man.
Okay.
We're pretty blessed to be pretty steady at this point. So
now, do you your employees know it's your birthday tomorrow?
I don't think so. Not many of them, anyway.
Ooh, all
a couple
right.
of them probably.
Make a call. Someone prank Graham tomorrow at work. Put a banana in the in his tailpipe or something.
Yeah.
Good old.
They probably would.
What movie was that?
It was an old one.
Eddie Murphy was in it. Beverly Hills Cop. There we go. Reximus is our local Hollywood historian here, and also the producer of the show here. So interesting. What's that?
With a headache.
With a headache. That's all right, Rex.
We're having camera issues today.
You're doing a great job. So, is there a certain motto you live your life by, or is there a certain motto that you could describe your life by?
Man, I don't know if I'd necessarily have a motto. I just believe in treating people right. Like I was always taught, like especially in business, like lose money on a job before you let somebody leave unhappy. I mean, you're always going to have those couple of customers that are just impossible, but like I just believe in treating people right, and not, even if people are nasty to you, don't stoop to that level. Just always try and take the high road if you can, and just be good. I don't know, man. The more I see this world kind of turning towards like such a negative and hateful place, it's like, I don't know, just be the light. Just try to be kind to people and just
do unto
right.
others as you would have done unto you.
It's especially during COVID when everybody was locked up and you just saw the nastiness online. I'm like, man, get out of your house and just go talk to people. People are really actually still pretty cool to each other for the most part.
Yes,
it's like that. Most of the nastiness you see is in the news and online, but like when you get out and actually just talk to people, people are still cool. Like
regular people. Yes.
Yeah, like, but that's what I just try to live by, man. Is just try to be good to people and be good to each other, And
do you think maybe with your experience with your son, that's maybe given you maybe more of that type of attitude towards life too?
I think so, man. I mean, because and I have to put myself in check, because there can be extremely frustrating situations at home with that and just life, and sometimes I even have to put myself in check. But it's
okay.
Just trying to teach my 6-year-old that, because now, like, having Tucker, it's an almost 10-year difference between the two, and we were honestly just scared to have another one because of everything Adrian went through, and so now it's almost like we're kind of first parents again, like going through sports for the first time and doing all that.
Sure.
And so, just trying to be a good example to him as much as possible too, and I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, but I try to.
We all do
the right thing.
Would you say Tucker's pretty protective of Adrian then?
He can be, but man, it's kind of funny though. Like, they'll sit in the back of the SUV. Adrian, once again, I said he's not very coordinated, but sometimes Tucker will annoy him, and it's kind of funny seeing them actually be kind of like brothers, because Adrian will kind of swipe at him, and then Tucker will swipe back. And
so that's that's probably kind of actually refreshing
normal,
to see, right? Yeah. Like maybe it gives it a normal feel. Yeah,
older brother's annoyed by the annoying little brother, and vice versa. So,
but they get along pretty well.
Pretty good, yeah. I mean, Tucker knows. I mean, he gets it, and I think he definitely recognizes it at school. He'll tell me times where he calls them other kids like brother, kind of a thing. And so I think he's gonna. It's really gonna teach him a lot. I think he's gonna be just a a phenomenal dude when he gets older.
Yeah, he'll have another great perspective, and
100%.
Be passionate for people and give them probably the benefit of the doubt.
And he's got that caring heart too. So I mean,
yeah.
So I
have
think
empathetic, empathy,
yeah.
yes.
He'll be really
which
good.
is what we lack a lot now in our society.
100%.
And, yeah. Well, not to. I guess this would be kind of tie-in. Do you have I know the great Graham Boozle was a big deal. Do you have a maybe an embarrassing memory, or would that be maybe the most embarrassing memory you have?
Oh gosh.
Or maybe a favorite memory? Because you
From
talked
a
about your
kid,
grandfather, just anything in life. What is something that's been maybe embarrassing, or maybe a favorite, like your absolute favorite memory, if you could go back there?
Dude, my favorite memory, honestly, it's not even just like one memory. So my grandmother was like one of the biggest supporters in my life. Like I said, I've been down some tough roads in my life, and she was always the biggest supporter. Like I always joked around, like she was such a supporter. Like if I would have murdered somebody, she would have been like, well, they probably deserved. Like she was
had a reason.
She was my biggest fan. But no, like growing up, Grandma's house was always the safe house. Like I had a stepmother that was pretty tough when I was a kid.
Did she lived up in North Dakota too?
No, she was in South Dakota.
Okay,
yep.
South Dakota. South Dakota, Sturgis.
I'll forgive you one time for calling.
Sorry.
Just kidding. But no, it was funny. I was actually went through some counseling back in the days, and they always asked like, when did I? It was the 5 love languages. We were going through that kind of deal, And the pastor at the time asked me, when did I ever feel the most loved in my life? And it was always because I was in South Dakota during the summers and every other Christmas, and so every summer, we'd go to Grandma's house for the first time, and it was her. She was always waiting on the front steps, and it was that big hug from Grandmother. Yeah, man, and she was just. I always joke around like if she would have told me not to do this, I probably started Bulldog, because I left a salaried job, like a really safe job, to clean cars back in the days. She was about one of the only people that was supportive. Like, you can do it, you can do it.
Very encouraging, huh?
If she would have said that's probably a bad idea, don't do it, I probably wouldn't have done it. Like, that's how much. I mean, she meant the world to me. And we lost her a few years back, but she was probably one of my favorite memories, man. You
had that experience.
You were always safe. She was just always there. I mean, just super attentive to us. I mean, she was just by far one of the best people I've ever known.
Okay.
And if I was ever a fraction of the person that she was, I mean, I'd be happy. I mean, she was just great.
That's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
I've had a different experience, I'd say, than you, but that's cool to hear. Yeah, it's almost like movie type stuff, like Hollywood, like.
She was
grandmother like that, or grandfather.
Just as selfless as they came. I mean, she was always worried about everybody else. I mean, like, just one story that always reminded me of her selflessness. My sister got married up in Colorado. I think it was 7 years ago, up in Keystone, and my grandmother actually fell and broke her hip. Obviously, in a ton of pain. Literally wouldn't show it. Like, they had to have the ambulance. She had to go. It was after the wedding. It was during the reception. It was during pictures, actually. And she still sat and took pictures, and then the ambulance took her away. But, she never, nobody knew at that time that her hip was broken. And she put on her game face because she didn't want to take away from my sister's wedding and the attention. She didn't want it on her. She wanted it to remain on my sister. But that's
that's how selfless, like you said.
100%, dude. Old school, just cares about everybody, and, opened up her home to anybody. She was just amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds like you've had some great people influence you through. I mean, that would be something I would have asked you, but I don't have to ask you that question because she was probably one of the more impactful people in your life.
100%. Yep. As far as just how to be a human being, I mean,
yeah.
100%.
Okay. Man, I got all sorts of warm fuzzies from every question I've asked you here. So, So what is something that drives you, Graham? What is something you're absolutely passionate about? What's your biggest passion?
My family. I mean,
your family?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about that. I mean, the kids are weakness for sure. I mean, just seeing everything Adrian's gone through, I can't lose what I'm doing because they need it, And I honestly, I mean, we grew up, we didn't have a lot of money growing up. My grandfather did really well, and my grandmother, but my family wasn't. I mean, I started working when I was 14 at McDonald's, and I would help, with
help make the ends meet. Then,
I mean, we didn't have the money for a snowblower. We lived on a big corner lot, so I was the snowblower with a shovel out there, and then as soon as I got it shoveled, snowplow would come by and cover it.
Oh man!
Anybody that lived up north can empathize with that.
Stupid plow drivers.
But yeah, I mean, And honestly, even above that now, I mean, my work family too, we've got 25 plus employees that rely on us. So it's not even just about Graham anymore. It's about, at the beginning it was small. It was kind of a lot about just me, but now it's, we've got 25 plus employees that rely on that business to come through the door every day, and they've got their families and stuff. And, we've created a system now where people make livable wages, and most detailing companies don't have that. So, but yeah, my family, especially the kids, man, they're just a weak spot,
Yeah. Well, this is why we're talking about small business owners, because this is who we are.
Yeah.
Family people. We're trying to support other families. So
a lot of people don't realize, I've had good years and I've had bad years. It's not like you go have a salary position, exactly how much you're going to make. Small business owners don't know that. You have a bad month, you might not pay yourself at all, or you might be pulling out of savings to make payroll. People don't know that stuff. They see the good side on social media, but they don't see the struggles that we
keep the lights on. The show must go on. Wow.
There's lots of ups and downs.
So other people is what you're passionate about, really. Yeah. It sounds like their outcome.
Right.
Man, you are like the quintessential small business owner. I love it. Geez, this is almost probably like what I bet you're going to probably say, but if I were to bet, which we will be doing soon, what are you proudest of in your life? What's something that wells you up with pride about
kids,
something?
Man. Yeah, the kids. It's just seeing Adrian, just the family in general. But seeing Adrian be able to do what he's doing now, when they said he'd probably never even walk, and the fact that he can walk and do everything he does, and now he's finding ways to communicate. It's pretty unbelievable. And just, Jennifer holding the homestead down to allow for all this craziness to happen, because honestly, when I started the company back in 2016 out in Hamilton, out in the middle of nowhere, I never thought I'd be in Temple or Waco or any of this. My original goal, I loved the nursing home industry. I loved the residents. Absolutely loved it. Loved the work. But the company was too much for me. It was the typical big corporation. My second degree is in social work, so I'm obviously very patient focused. And corporations are very money driven, and so a lot of times that doesn't align. And so, I don't know. Where was I even going with that? What was the question again?
I don't know what you're proudest of.
Yeah, just going back to, just to the family, just being able to provide and do something that I enjoy doing. And that's why I started it. I originally just was hoping to have maybe me and a couple of guys out in Hamilton and just have a cool little shop. And I didn't know at the time, in early 2017, I was the first guy to get certified in ceramic coatings, and I didn't know because I did it out in Hamilton. And then all of a sudden I'm seeing calls coming in from Waco and Temple and Killeen. I'm like, what's going on? And hey, I want to come out and get my car coated and stuff. And I was like, all right. And then, years later, I look back and there was nobody else doing it at the time that was certified to do it. And so people were probably Googling ceramic coatings nearest me, and it was either a couple of guys in Dallas or a couple in Austin or Hamilton.
Wow,
and Waco, Temple, Killeen, as far as I've seen, I think I was the first guy to actually get certified in
Cornered the market here then.
And then just made sense to start moving into these areas. And so,
yeah. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Seriously.
Unintentional, but turned out to be a good decision.
I mean, we'll get to it, but to me, obviously the success of your business is, I would imagine, is important to any business owner, but the people, which is that's probably what's driving your success is you have greater cares than just the bottom line.
Yeah. The bottom line, it
will take care of itself if you take care of everyone
and
else.
I've gone through those phases where I was really focusing on that bottom line, and it probably created more toxicity in the company than good. We're focusing, we're actually in the middle of shifting that focus back to employee care. We're working on getting actual benefits in-house now. We just had quotes, or we had somebody come out and interview us to where, very few detailing companies offer health insurances and stuff like that.
Really?
So,
wow.
Yeah, it's just there's not enough money in it to be able to offer it. And so we're really shifting some major focuses to where, we really want to make sure they're taken care of, because I've seen studies that show just even offering, the more benefits you can offer an employee, the longer you're going to retain them,
So why would they want to leave if you're treating them well?
Yeah, so we're in a really, really fun transition right now, and we're going to be making some pretty big announcements in the next couple of weeks as well. So